Welcome, I'm Bev Adams. I own an independent paper crafting business showcasing products from Stampin' Up! I made this beautiful card with products from Stampin' Up! I sell these products and also a few items to make crafting more convenient. I have the free detailed directions for this project on my website. You'll be able to click the links for the products that you would like to be taken to my online store at Stampin' Up! You'll see where to find all of that at the end of this video, so don't worry about taking notes. It's time to put stamps, ink, and paper together. It is Sale-a-Bration. It is a huge sale that Stampin' Up! Puts on. There's actually going to be 2 Sale-a-Brations this year. And there is a brochure where you cannot buy these products. You can get them free with a $50 order. And this project uses 2 of the products from this brochure, Corner Bouquet and Heal Your Heart. And if you buy all the products that you need for this project, you'll qualify for both of these. As I said, I'm using Corner Bouquet, and it is a lovely stamp set, but there's no greetings. So I'm using Heal Your Heart. And this is all greetings, and I just love this cursive font. My sample uses thank you. Unfortunately, I do need to make a sympathy card, so I'm going to use a couple of other stamps from this set. My card base is Mossy Meadow. It's your typical 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have 2 pieces of white cardstock. These are Whisper White. If you order now, you'll be getting Basic White, very similar. These are both 4 by 5 1/4, very typical sizes for me. One of them's going to go on the inside, and one's going to go on the outside. And I'm actually just wanting a very tiny border. So I have a piece of Mossy Meadow that was the same size, but I just cut it down an 1/8 inch this way and an 1/8 inch this way. So I'm getting a 1/16 of an inch border there. I'm using just about the last of my elegant faceted gems. Don't worry, I've got another pack. We're going to color these with the Mossy Meadow Stampin' Blends, the dark one. I'm using some other blends with this. I'm using the Balmy Blue, Granny Apple Green, Poppy Parade, and Highland Heather. These are all the dark of the duos. And I may be using the color lifter. I like to call this the color pusher. I will be using Versamark and Mossy Meadow inks and the white Stampin' Emboss powder. So that means I'll be using my heat tool as well. I'm going to start by stamping the Mossy Meadow in Versamark ink using the large corner stamp. And this is a large one. It's larger than my stamp pad, so I like to take my stamp pad to the stamp instead of the other way around. And I'm going to stamp in the corner. Versamark ink is a little bit sticky and it takes a little bit of time to dry, and that makes it great for using the embossing powders. And I'm bringing in just a scrap. This is actually my directions upside down. And I also wanted to stamp my greeting, wishing I could heal your heart. I want this to be kind of centered in this blank area here. I'm going to put the white Stampin' Powder all over. It doesn't matter how much you use because you're going to actually pour almost all of this back in the tub. And flick it These little tiny pieces will show up better once it's heated, so you want to get rid of them if you can. So set that aside. Do not brush that off because it'll just come off right now. Put the extra powder back in the tub. And then I'm going to use my heat tool. I think of heat embossing as kind of magic. So I've got this white powder, and I'm sorry about the noise. It is a little bit noisy. But this heat tool, once it heats up, melts the, I presume it's wax, and turns the powder bright white and glossy. I held this up in the air for two reasons. First, I wanted to help you maybe see the magic, but I also wanted to keep it up away from my surface because it does get hot. Then I want to be sure and give this a chance to cool. Pulling in those gems and my Mossy Meadow Stampin' Blends, and I think I'm going to use these, and so I'm just going to color over the surface. Stampin' Blends do a great job of blending colors when you're coloring an image. They give a real smooth look to your coloring, so you don't see brush marks or whatever. But they also color on non-porous surfaces, like the gems, and I'm also going to use them to color the embossing powder, which is non-porous. But I do want to let that dry. And pulling my scrap of paper back in, I'm going to color now. I'm using the larger tip and just trying to cover up all of my greenery. I do not need to be careful about this. I see three kinds of flowers. I see these kind of larger round flowers. I see these kind of long flowers with the lines on them. And then there's a lot of little flowers. So I'm going to color the little flowers with the balmy blue. Then I'm going to color the larger kind of fluffy flowers in Highland Heather. And finally, I'm going to use Poppy Parade for these kind of long flowers. I have no idea what any of these flowers are in real life, but I liked this color combination, and so this is what I went with. I do see a couple of stems that I think I missed, so I'm going back to catch those. And on my sample, I accidentally did a big old line right across here. I very successfully, I think, used the color lifter to remove it. It's right here. I can still see it. Maybe you can see it, knowing it's there. It also is useful to push these stems. Like this one, I kind of got carried away a little bit. It does show a lot right now, but as it dries, it pushes the color back to where it belongs. And it does not change the cardstock color. My gems should be dry now. And I have to tell you, I've been looking at this. I wish I had lined these three up under the U a little bit. I'm not sure exactly where these will go, but I'm picking it up with my take your pick tool. I think I'm going to center this one right here. And a straight edge underneath will help you line them up. My favorite way to use the take your pick tool is to pick it up this way, but if my ink isn't all the way dry, it could pull up some of that color, and I don't want to do that. Now, as I turn this over, you'll see that the Stampin' Blends do bleed through the cardstock a little bit. So I'm putting this layer on the white layer. As I said, it's just a little tiny border. And on the white background, it hardly shows. But I think it adds a lot when you add it to the dark card base. So I'm centering that. My kind of first draft of this card did not use this second layer. It's a pretty card, I think. It did show through a little bit. So now I'm going to add my inside layer. And we're going to stamp the inside. We're going to stamp this corner image. Make sure it gets nice and juicy. And we'll stamp in the bottom left corner. And we'll stamp sorry for your loss. And we'll put that on the inside of the card. And that's it. Here is the web address for this project, where you'll find the free detailed directions and links for the products I used. Just click the links and you'll be taken to my online store at Stampin' Up! Also on my website, you'll find a shop button. Under shop, you'll find products from Bev, shopping strategies, frequent shopper points, a link to my online store at Stampin' Up! When you click products from Bev, you'll find information about sharing my current products notebook in Evernote, and taggers. I started making taggers when all of those layering shapes came out, and it was so hard for me to figure out which one I used and how to tell somebody else which one I used. So I made taggers. Each tagger has the name of the dies, the item number, how many in the set, and each tagger has the size of that shape. I also sell my cardstock sampler, fine tip glue pen replacement tips, and large and small reclosable bags that I use for designer series paper, both the 6x6 and the 12x12. And I have a link for my friend's bow maker. Under inspiration, you can scroll my projects, look at the latest post, find out about the basics, which I've designed especially for new stampers, and techie tips. Under getting organized, you'll find links to stamp case slips, product labels, large labels, case inserts, ink refill cases, lots of coloring tools, a stamp pad storage solution for practically no money, catalog tabs, a quick reference, and a wish list with the catalog index, directions for my basic toolkit to go and my compact desktop toolbox. I have so many people looking for my Evernote current products notebook that I have a new tab just for that. You can find out how to share my searchable catalog. You can go to SIP Together, and you can find out how to join my team so that you can either save money or make money. Thank you for stopping by. Talk to you soon.